Backed.
Well, here we go. Game number 1 between Talon and Shopify Rebellion of Birmingham 2024. Or ESL One Birmingham 2024, of course. It's going to be an immediate smoke here from Talon. So they will rush towards the right side of the map, see if they can maybe find some wards and find a straggler early on. I just feel like you've got two teams that want to fight level 1 as well. Like, there's definitely plenty of potential for a quick pick off from either side. Seems like Shopify, though, maybe being a little bit more passive and just more cautious by staying around that mid-tier 1 tower. And well, Talon, they are the ones kind of hunting around their jungle. But nobody's really coming. So lines are being drawn up. They want to go through the dire triangle, it seems. Smoke from Shopify Rebellion now. They're heading right towards that triangle. Well, here we go. Shopify. Can they find somebody from Talon? Like, one disruption into Arrow is almost just a guaranteed kill. If Theolacor can find himself a nice target, the pings are coming out. They seem to be very well aware that Shopify are coming. Up they go, Ponyo. He's going to break the smoke, but they're not within range of the disruption. There's going to be a nice shockwave out. Disruption is in. Arrow does fly out, does connect onto the mag, but Yopaj is getting way too low and he is gone. It's kind of the problem, right? You run into 5 heroes, disruption arrow means nothing.
No. And the smoke of Artur broke right in the river, under the ward. This early ward placement from Talon, kind of using their smoke to plant defensive wards, anticipating Shopify going for that movement, does punish quite nicely. So, pretty heads up from Talon to just be patient, not really cross the river. WS just taking the Watcher and just holding that high ground spot. Find a first blood does end up nicely. You do get the trade of all bounty runes coming out for Shopify Rebellion, so it's not all too bad, but Chuen getting that gold injection is massive. And again, that mid matchup for Yopaj, it's not the worst for Pango, but it's also not too bad for Chuen. It is very mana dependent for him, but he's got some good range. Once shield crash is gone, you've got some good right clicks to press down as well. You can get the value point and heavily jump. You just bail out when Yopaj does have a good position, so it should be relatively fine for Chuen here.
Kitrak is also going to be relatively fine, though he is forced to TP back towards that tier 1 tower. WS and Jokam were able to catch him before he had that level 2 mark with the leap up, but quick thinking from Kitrak does allow him to get away. Of course, down to that bottom lane, you are looking at Saberlight getting a little bit lower here to Ponyo. And it is going to be Ponyo and Akashi against Theolacor and Saberlight. And of course, Saberlight, for the earlier levels on the Brewmaster, will not have the greatest time. Like, once you get a few more points up in that Drunken Brawler, things get a lot easier, but for now, it seems as though he's going to have to play a little bit passive.
Akashi's doing a great job just flying some good right-click harass, using that range to his advantage, and just preventing Theolacor from looking for good disruptions to set up into, or to set some saves up. As they catch Saberlight again, dropping extremely low. Still has another set of tangos. Should be safe, but you're not stopping Akashi from farming him. There is a massive wave coming in, so there's some good EXP sources here. This lane stabilizes for Shopify once they've got a little bit more in Saberlight, as you mentioned, and especially Theolacor. Like, once he can threaten back with Shadow Poison, it does become a little bit easier to try to play around with Cinderbrew and the Chase Down. The illusions are fairly annoying, but they're not that durable in the laning phase. They do some good chip damage onto Ponyo, though. But as a Bane with Brain Sap, as long as you're not copying too many right clicks,
toss.
he's winning out these right click trades.
Top lane, they've got the toss into the skewer play. Arteezy, he's had no time walk available, he's gone. Oh, that's a beautiful setup from Jokam. It was a toss into a skewer underneath the tier 1 tower. There's nothing he could do about it.
That's the one play that, you know, you always try to tierize, right? You've got a lot of displacement here. You've got a lot of ways of dragging them under a tower, but it's not something you really expect to work. Then Jokam works his magic, manages to find a setup, and does manage to soak into a relatively close point to that level 3. So even more nuking damage, maybe a little bit more right-click trade as well if he wants the value point in the tree grab. Not the smoothest lane for a tour. Toss back again.
He's got the time walk this time, though. He'll be okay. It's just kind of a warning shot from Jokam, just warning him not to time walk unnecessarily. And that's kind of the thing, right? Like, if Arteezy does commit that Q, just to take off a bit of damage here from WS, you might find yourself getting tossed back into a tier 1.
Yeah, and the kill threat is definitely there for Talon. It's also a little bit tougher for Faceless Void to be defensive with time dilation, as does get skewered back, but does have that Q away. Not much Kitrak can really do, like throw an arrow, but doesn't really zone them out here.
It doesn't do too much as the Marana in this laning stage, that's for sure. Arteezy not going to be feeling too happy here in this quote-unquote safe lane. Not feeling very safe at all for the Void, as Jokam almost having that salve cancelled, but will be okay to get underneath that tier 1 tower as a skewer play from WS. Not going to land onto Kitrak. Seems like they do buy RTZ a little bit of space, but it's kind of the thing as well. As the levels do go up for the side of Talon, the damage is going to get a lot more intense, and things can get much more dangerous for RTZ as mid lane, Yopaj going for a bit of a fight here onto Chuen, does take the water rune away from the Zeus, and now the race is on for the other side, but it's already taken. The Thea Liquor going to ensure that is denied away from Chuen. Of course, for the Zeus, an empty bottle is never going to feel very nice.
Certainly won't. No bounty rune as well with Thea Liquor making that rotation out. So nothing to really top up Chuen unless he can cross the river.
That's a lot of damage from Yopaj. Meanwhile, top lane WS was taking a fair bit himself, but is going to be okay. Chuen still hanging around. Yopaj, he has another swash up. He'll go for it. Chuen, oh, he's barely going to survive. Yopaj, still thinking about a chase, has swash up in 5. But Chuen is not going to risk it. He's out of there.
It's a big opening for Shopify Rebellion, and Yopaj, again, he needed that water rune steal from Thea Liquor to kind of get to this point in the lane. It's been a little bit just free damage coming out from Chuen, having that bailout and heavily jump again, hard to isolate. The Zeus does actually reset, and with the creep wave pulled all the way back, Chuen's not going to be missing too much. He misses a few creeps under tower, but Yopaj isn't able to clear out the creep wave just yet, so you should try to just stabilize and breed out, but it is still rather back and forth. The side lanes, again, does feel like you're getting away with a lot more right now for Talon. Akashi, after being left alone for quite a while from just watching him, he has managed to rack up quite a lot more CS. Saberlight, again, can't do as much to punish that. Doesn't even go into any points in the Thunderclap, just wants to be able to play around with the Drunken Brawler, try to burn down with Cinder Group with Thea Liquor as well. Perhaps now.
They're going to try now. The Saberlight, he'll go into Akashi. Akashi already taking so much damage, trying to fight back, but cannot do it. In fact, now Ponyo going to have to try and go for a run, but is certainly just going to die. Saberlight going to be gifted this kill from Thea Liquor, and that's the strength of this offlane, as Saberlight's already handing out the tips. That is the strength that they've been waiting for a while now. It's just finding that combination, finding those levels, and making that kind of kill happen.
That's all they needed. Managed to get the rundown, get the stacks up as well here with Thea Liquor, and Akashi does melt. He still had a great time farming up, but all kind of goes away with those sets of deaths. That's going to be a faster 6 now for Saberlight as well to have that split ready for a bigger collapses down the line. Yopaj has managed to get the Invis rune.
Nice little freebie here with Ponyo. Ponyo going to make it as hard as humanly possible with the Enfeeble, but not going to mean too much. Like Yopaj almost tricked me there. I thought he was actually going to pop that Rolling Thunder, but it decides better of it. In fact, Thea Liquor is going to be forced to take the kill. So there you go.
Yeah, after a little bit of a slower start, Shopify with the levels are finding their openings. Starting to really utilize that rune control that Talon hasn't managed to nail in. It's probably just down to the fact that Ponyo can't really leave that bot lane. So you can't rotate in to try to steer both, which is normally how Talon plays, especially from the qualifier games we've seen. WS up top.
I mean, no bashes. Oh, Arteezy, he gets it. There you go. I thought he was getting a little bit unlucky there on the Void, but he does get it in the end. Very, very nice. Sadly, Jokam just unable to get back within range of that tier 1 to help out.
Yeah, he's just trying to pick up that Wisdom rune, but does cost him there. Magnus, and after a relatively good start for Talon, coming into the 10-minute mark, Shopify again just rocketing up now in what they've gained out of these lanes. Yopaj off to a really strong timing for this Diffusal Blade, which is not going to feel great for Chuen. Every single swash just melting his early mana. They are trying to rotate top here.
They are going to go for an avalanche out. Toss back onto Kitrak. Kitrak is going to get blown up completely. Chuen, and a very nice start to the fight. Jokam, he's kind of been left behind. He'll keep going onto Thea Liquor, but of course is not going to be able to get the kill. So Yopaj does rotate and secure a kill of his own now. Each mid laner finding one for their trouble. It's keeping right back Yopaj. He's going to find the refresh rune. Meanwhile, bottom lane, a jump in on Akashi. The Luna being completely left alone is set to fall. And will a Saberlight just popping the primal split, able to secure the kill. It's that thing with the Brewmaster. In fact, top lane now, WS is in trouble. Avalanche up from Jokam will save for a little bit, but not for long. WS is gone, but they'll get Thea Liquor. Onto Arteezy they go, but Arteezy, he's got the time walk away, and he will be just fine. Kirak will hold them back and ensure they have. In fact, Yopaj now showing up once again from the mid lane, back up towards the top lane they go, looking for both supports. With this rolling thunder just holding everyone back. Jokam still running. Ponyo trying to do the same. Neither support dead quite yet. Looks like Jokam should be the one to fall. Eventually, Jokam toss away again. Actually finds Kirak. Holy! Arteezy forced the TP away. He's low on HP. Barely makes it up.
That's quite the back and forth. Still does work the way of Shopify Rebellion, but Talon gets a little bit of room out to breathe. The issue here is that Akashi left solo is not having a good time up against Saberlight at this point with levels. At least with the split down, he does have a little bit more breathing room, a little bit more space to just farm up, working towards that Mask of Madness to accelerate the farming pace. But Shopify Rebellion, they're doing a great job just playing around these timings. They've got some good stacks as well from Teal Liquor, which you'd expect with the Shadow Demon on 4. Diffusal for Yopaj, pretty much set to come out now. So, again, early threat onto the Zeus, really easy chase down with the inhibit. Not going to be easy for Talon to play in. This is where Talon's draft, again, starts to slow down. Like, they've got good spikes once some farms formed up, but you've got a Zeus who tends to go for the Phylactery Honda into some, like, the Manta with a Shard. That takes a lot of farm. You've got a Magnus who's going to need a Blink, who opted to prioritize Skewer, so that it's not as much Empower, not as much farm for him to find in the camps as well, or not as fast, at the very least. And Shopify Rebels doesn't need as much. Like, Yopaj with Diffusal, that's it. They're going to smoke up off the back of it.
Yeah, just so much damage off that one Diffusal Blade with the Pangolier. Like, this item just never gets old on this hero. Saberlight, I mean, trying to bait the side of Talon to come defend that tier 1. Meanwhile, mid lane, they are going to find Kitrak, so they will find a Mirana for their trouble. Shopify Rebellion not really reacting whatsoever to that engagement onto Kitrak. As Yopaj and Thea Lacour still wrapping around through the bottom lane, trying to find themselves a target, but nobody's showing up. Instead, they're forced to rotate back into the mid lane because there is a siege creep and 3 heroes going after that mid-tier 1 tower. So they want the fight here up against Talon. Yopaj trying to sneak in from the back. Arteezy also showing up now with the Chrono. Does find the Zeus. Will just commit it immediately onto 1, but it's well worth it if they can find the kill, and they certainly can by the looks of it. Chwen is gone. Meanwhile, Yopaj finding more, has caught Jokam. We'll wait for the backup to come before securing the kill, but Jokam should be as good as dead, and he will be. As Ponyo not making it out either. He is going down. And Talon, they will eventually be punished for taking that mid-tier 1 tower. But to be fair, John, they do get that mid-tier 1 tower.
And the cost is still pretty heavy. Again, the side of Shopify Rebellion is exploiting the fact that WS can't reasonably show up here and get any plays. He doesn't even level up RP. He knows he's going to need the blink anyway before making that play.
Chwen's going in.
Oh.
Yopaj almost getting completely blown up, but is barely going to survive. Chwen unable to keep up the chase as Yopaj now is being chased down by WS, but will make it. It's a close call for the Pangolier, but the Zeus damage just was not enough on its own.
Yeah, not quite. Phylactery does do a lot, but definitely needs a little bit more. Maybe if someone else could have TP'd a little bit earlier there. They all just lost that last fight into the TP in.
So Jokam's kind of been left alone. Though I say left alone, his teammates are on the high ground waiting to see if they can find an initiation here onto somebody. Yopaj will go for the Rolling Thunder, looking for Chwen. Meanwhile, Ponyo also being controlled up by Shopify. Yopaj holding everyone else back. Will eventually find the Tiny. Chwen now being chased down once again, but Yopaj, he'll cop the RP. Arrow's going to fly through. Yopaj is gone, but they got the arrow onto the Zeus. Problem is he's by the tier 2 tower. Nobody wants to dive it. Saberlight trying to hold everyone else back here from Talon, but now he's been caught out. Oh, poor old Saberlight. Can he run? Oh, it looks like he can. They just don't have the damage nor the control to get the Brewmaster. But still, overall, a pretty decent fight for Talon.
They get good punishment out onto Yopaj. It was a pretty scrappy fight. It was fairly split up. Talon were holding back. They still managed to save this tier 1. I think that's the biggest part of just kind of breaking this fight up. Just holding onto this objective, having control on the triangle, allowing Akashi and WS to still have a relatively safe area to farm up. Does allow them to scale into this point where you get this Blink RP threat, Blink Skewer back. You're also, again, trying to work into this tiny Blink timing. It's these 2 Blinks that Talon really need to be online. And we were talking about it from draft, but especially with a tiny four. It kind of hinges on that blink
US.
before you can start to make some plays here.
Look at the aggression here. John Arteezy, he's got Chrono back off cooldown and automatically just rushing with his team throughout the bottom lane, trying to find himself a target. Problem is the movement does eventually get read anyway, so WS not going to get caught with his pants down, but I appreciate the fact that Arteezy is joining his team this early with the Chrono off cooldown every time, just to ensure he gets some utility out of it. And it certainly has been working so far.
And it has. They are still building up that lead here on Shopify. 4K up, 7 to 12. You're having a great time across all the cores. To be fair, Talon cores aren't falling too far behind outside of WS. He has been having a bit of a slower game, but he does have that blink we were talking about already up and running. So looking for something with a smoke here for Ponyo and WS. Sneak around still from Shopify though.
Could they find the Luna? Nakashi, no, he's narrowly going to avoid it. Instead, they're going to find Joe Camp, who does go in back to break the smoke, and well, eventually should just be dead. There's really no escape from this one. Nice little kill for Saberlight this time around, and well, they are going to still move in to try and pick off Kidrak and find themselves a bit of a kill. Saberlight's going to get Fiend's Grip, though he does have the ultimate available, but he needs time to pop it, and he will not have it. The Nightmare, or rather the Fiend's Grip, does end up paying off. Nobody from Shopify was able to punish, so they are going to try, but now Yopaj gets caught out. He cops the RP. Disruption will stay for now as Arteezy. Oh, no! Oh, he whiffs the Chrono, but it won't really matter anyway. Yopaj is down. WS will survive. Thea Lacour is gone. And something tells me Arteezy is going to be on Reddit today, John. Something tells me.
I mean, it looked like it was on edge. You know, it looked like it should have connected to that mag, but just doesn't quite clip. WS manages to just...
It happens.
Use that positioning right. Yeah, they capitalize on it on Talon. That's basically your two supports being traded away for two big core pickups here from Shopify. Taking away the threat of Chrono from Artur as well. Opens up these next few fights for Talon for the next minute and a half. So they're going to be free to just kind of force things out without worrying about that big team fight control. RP is going to be up faster as well in comparison to that Chrono, so you're going to have a window of opportunity there for WS to play. And you can get some build up on Akashi, working onto that Manta. Not too far off it for now.
We're just
looking at a little replay there.
We do have a little replay. We also have Yopaj getting jumped as we speak. Yopaj is gone. They are doing a very good job of shutting this mid Pangolier down, I'll tell you. That is the fourth death for Yopaj this game already. And now props to Talon, John. They continue to find this man.
Well, they are. They know that the Pango wants to play aggressive again. He doesn't need much beyond that defusal, so he's been wanting to capitalize on it. Takes a really aggressive positions on the map. He's giving more room to Saberlight and to Arteezy to farm, which is fair. Again, you can scale really nicely with a Faceless Void. A few more items on Saberlight can be very detrimental to Talon as well, especially down the line with something like the Aeon Disc. That's something Saberlight can start to find himself into, build into. Then it becomes a lot harder to just stop that split, which is really big nuisance factor for Talon outside of Chrono here. So we'll see if this investment pays off, but he is copying it on Yopaj. Is working towards a Mage Slayer into the Ags. Mage Slayer doesn't seem to be too far off. So a little bit more durability, more ways to take down the output of Chuen. Chuen, for his part, Scottish Shard is going into that Manta. Down the line, maybe the Conda comes out, and then the Moon Shard. And then you're pretty much happy. It does give a lot of value to the Shadow Demon, but yes, you don't really want to hold yourself back for just disruption. So I guess that's one thing.
Yeah. A bit of a cheeky scan out. We'll catch Kirak with that scan. But Talon looking to perhaps go for a bit of a bottom tier 1 tower play, if not just find a pick off here with this blink on WS. The blink skewer into the RP, certainly a very easy way of killing off somebody, but nobody will show down at the bottom tier 1 tower. Instead, Joe Cam getting caught up at the top lane, but can TP away. Very nice quick thinking. See, neither Saberlight nor Yopaj would have had a way to cancel that in time had they popped their ultimates. Meanwhile, WS still having a look around for a target here with this RP. Saberlight's going to TP over, trying to start a fight. He does have the Radiance up now on the Brewmaster, keep in mind. But ultimately, seems as though Talon not quite interested whatsoever in forcing a fight in that dire triangle. They will just retreat.
Yeah, you need to just stay back, play around their vision. They don't really have aggressive vision here on Talon. It's all defensive, even on Shopify as well. So not really the ideal position to force that fight out for Talon. They're also really close to this blink on Jokam. It's already just up. This would be the moment to start to go hunting now with that initiation on the Tiny, relieving some of that pressure on WS. They're trying to rotate with the Moonlight.
Fun fact, by the way, had Chuen not pump faked, he would have actually killed Arteezy with his ultimate. He actually had enough damage the first time around. But he did pump fake and, well, what can you do? Obviously, he had no idea how low Arteezy was at the time. Anyway, rotation here from Talon. Not amounting to much, though. They're just hanging around that mid-tier 2 tower, hoping somebody will show up to go for the creep wave, but it seems like Chuen's going to make it pretty obvious he's hanging around the area anyway. It seems like Shopify Rebellion, in the meantime, more than happy to just stick around Arteezy, ensure the Void is continuing to farm. Obviously, you do have the super late game scaling here with this Faceless Void. And ultimately, Talon, for all the time being used up in the mid lane, all they're going to find is a top tier 1 tower.
Yeah. They're getting some important map space, I suppose. Like, if they want to force out Roche top, at least without the tier 1, you've got a slower TP point in the outpost. Smoke out, RP.
WS, no hesitation, right in with the Fiend's Grip from Ponyo. The alley-oop onto the Bane. Theolacore trying to get out as well, but Chuen's on the chase. And it looks like he might just have him. In fact, he needs a little bit more, so Jokam jumps in to get the job done. Meanwhile, Sableye goes in with the ulti. Chrono out from Arteezy. He's found 4 targets. They'll take WS down first, but can Arteezy survive this? He'll go on to Chuen. He'll time walk away. Still chasing onto the Zeus. He does catch him. There's now Jokam is still continuing to try onto the Void. Akashi trying to man up, but Arteezy just continues to time walk off all the damage. Never dying here in the Void, even getting tipped by Theolacore. Onto the mid-tier 1 tower they go.
And Saberlight really opened up that fight. The Chrono is nice, but it's the follow-up Hurricanes coming out from the Brewmaster that really ruined Talon's day. You miss out on a few opportunities for Akashi to just dish some damage out, and just kind of falls flat. Great comeback from Shopify. Pumps them back into the game. Number 1 net worth now for our tour off the back of that. With the Mjolnir going into BKB, can be a lot more secure in these fights. Makes it a little bit harder for WS once these BKBs are up. Right, WS and Ponyo have to kind of make a choice now. Do you pop all your debuff immunity piercing spells to just hold down the Pango before you can roll? You kind of have to save one now to catch out this Faceless Void and stop the Chrono. Like, you've got a lot to worry about for Talon if you're not able to open up these fights in the proper way. And we've seen from them before, they're not scared of popping RP into Grip. Just 2 ults for 1 hero, but with a Faceless Void in the equation, with a BKB coming out, it's just not something you can fully commit into anymore.
It can be very, very challenging, that's for sure. And I think Talon are realizing the hard way. They'll have to sit back for a little bit and kind of maybe come up with a bit of a different game plan. Though I say that, there is going to be an Orchid being built up on WS, and he does now have it. And of course, Jokam immediately buys out a smoke, seeing that. And it seems though they want to put it to use immediately. I mean, there's no counterplay for the Orchid if you do catch out the Void. So Arteezy has not built a BKB yet. He's in the process. But in we go. Sablelight's going to show himself. He's also a great target to aim down with the Orchid if you can. Problem is, his whole team is behind him. This could be a really problematic fight for Talon. If they're not too careful, they'll commit the RP and the Fiend's Grip right onto the Brewmaster though. And they will secure a very nice kill into a second. This Theolacore will also go down, and they will cop no punishment for this.
I mean, you don't have Chrono ready yet on our tour. He wants that full BKB up first. He's going to sit back. Is inching closer towards it, only about 600 gold, 500 gold away. So not too far off. Talon making use of the openings while they can find them. It does leave them without RP for the next fight. It does leave them without Grip as well. And really, the Grip's the big one. They do spot out Artur, but they're also under vision here.
Not trying. Arteezy, he'll go for a time walk away. Looks like he's going to be just fine. Shopify, they are waiting around just to see if Arteezy does get caught, but without the RP of the Fiend's Grip, it's going to be pretty much impossible to kill off the Void. Problem is, Arteezy's about 100 gold away from the BKB now, so you can still kill him through it with all those abilities, but it is going to be a little bit more challenging. Though Talon, they are prepped and ready to try and force a fight. But is it really worth it with all these ultis down? Arteezy, he'll show himself again. BKB on the courier. Saberlight's gonna jump in, though he's jumped into 5 heroes, and Saberlight, no, he gets the primal split off. He's fine, and now the Chrono. Arteezy, he's locked down the Luna. Oh, Akashi is gone. So is Ponyo. Jocam's gonna go for a run, but there's no running. There is no running, Mr. Jocam. He will eventually fall to the void. And I'll tell you, John, I've got to ask the question, what would Talon think? They're still going. Chwen's not out either. WS? I'm sorry, Jonathan. I've got to cast the fight. WS is gone. Full team. Go on, John. What were you trying to say?
I don't think they expect just the Brewmaster to blink in with no vision there. There was no vision at all from Shopify. They had a sentry, they had an obs here from Talon. You don't expect the Brewmaster to just jump in and have the Pangolier fully commit to the role right off the back of that as well. But they got the angle in, they catch the heroes clumped up. They had a good sideboard here as well from Shopify, indicating that they'd be hanging around that area. So this ward by the Lotus Pool spotted out the Zeus illusions just hanging around, walking down this lane. They know they're going to be hunting the side of that from Shopify Rebels off of that info. And they capitalize on it. And Talon, again, it's not a move you expect, but with this really sneaky ward giving some information you can kind of make deductions off of, does allow that really aggressive play, and you just don't have enough. If they managed to burst down Saberlight before the split, that fight could have been a little bit different. You might have been able to split up a little bit more, prevent the Chrono from coming in effectively this time, and try to turn that fight around, but just enough HP there on Saberlight to survive through and just have all of that util come in post-Chrono.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic initiation from Saberlight, and his spidey senses were tingling, Jonathan. He makes the jump in blind, and he knew exactly what he was doing. We'll see a replay here. You see that Saberlight. I think he may have seen Jocam for a second. I think that may have been what it was. You see, the follow-up was just perfect. Shopify, they saw all the bodies, and they thought, well, screw it, I'm going in. Beautiful initiation.
Yeah, pays out massively. 10k lead for Shopify now. 15 to 23. And Talon, their lineup, again, it scales nicely, but they are somewhat farm starved. You know, like Chuen, WS starting to lag a bit behind, only Akashi kind of matching with the rest of a higher farm course on Shopify. They'll try for Chrono now. There's no threat of... They'll try for Roshan. There's no threat of Chrono or the split for a little bit, but it's coming up shortly. It's not the fastest Roshan in the world here. Do have RP and grip, though, along with Eclipse, so they could try the counterplay on Talon.
Oh, yeah, there's 10 seconds for Chrono. Split is now officially up. Roshan's very low. They're going to have all these abilities ready for the Roshan attempt. And I say attempt, I mean Shopify's attempt. This Talon, they will hold back. They'll sit in the tree line and wait for the right targets. Every single spell, apart from Moonlight Shadow, is now available. Rolling Thunder, not used yet by Yopash. In goes Arteezy. Arteezy will start on the Roshan. Talon. It's their choice. What do you want to do about it? They'll scout it out, so Arteezy will leave. Chuen trying to wrap around through the Roshan pit, it seems. RP. Oh, they've got him. They've got the void. Arteezy is gone. Jocam's in. Avalanche is out. Tosses up on Saberlight, but he'll get the split off in time. He'll make his move in as the buyback is out from Arteezy. He'll rejoin his team. Come back for the Roshan attempt as Akashi already popped his BKB. He needs to get the hell out of there. It's not safe. The Chrono's out. Cancel the TP for Akashi.
Oh, man.
He is gone. So is Jocam by the looks of it. That'll be 3 for the price of 1 buyback from Arteezy. But it's well worth it, of course, for Shopify Rebellion, as they will have dibs on Roshan.
And they'll have that secondary life to cover Artur's buyback. Really great reads out from Shopify, just holding this position right by their outpost, forcing Talon to play in. This Moonlight Shadow has been causing a lot of issues for Talon. Just the map coverage you need to spot these movements out, it gets a lot harder. They're having again, it's taking so much commitment from Talon to find these kills. It's an RP into grip. Like, all your BKB piercing spells have to fly in, and that just leaves Yopaj with a free time to roll. It leaves a lot of window for Saberlight to just do what he needs to. He's got the Manta now, so the Orchid's not a massive threat as well. It's just difficult for Talon. It feels like if you can, that you've got to start these fights instead with Jocam. Just go on with Avalanche Tossback, try to get at least one chain control off, but not all of it. You can't commit the RP and the grip anymore. for these plays. Like, it leaves the wider team fight for Shopify, and they've been doing a fantastic job on capitalizing every single time.
This is very, very challenging. Like, who do you decide to get? Like, the Brewmaster, the Void, the Pango. There's just too many options. Too many hard decisions to be made here by Talon. Shopify Rebellion continuing to abuse this, what appears to be a bit of a draft advantage here in this game 1. Shopify Rebellion through the bottom tier 2 tower. Arteezy will do this on his own. Confidence with the Aegis up, of course. There will be no kind of rebuttal here from Talon. They'll just let it happen. Top lane, however, they may get caught. Akashi, Sableye jumps right in. He wants to find WS first, but instead they're going to find Ponyo. They've completely left the Luna alone. Instead now finding the Magnus. WS not going to be able to survive. Will go down. Akashi at the very least does make his way out, but he is now without his mag and without his bane. It's not a very good feeling.
No. And those are really the targets you need from Shopify anyway, to find. Like, take away the RP, take away the grip, and Talon are left with very little to play with, just like a toss-back play, which follow-up just doesn't feel that great without these two other heroes. You don't have any openings for Talon, just sit back, farm. They're going to lose a lot of map space. Shopify should be able to find additional tier 2s with this remaining time in the Aegis.
They do blow him up. Wait, it costs them a lot. Cost them the Eclipse, cost them everything from Chuen, but they do blow up the Brewmaster.
It's a nice take. I don't think it really fully stops the shove in, but it does stall for time. Respawns are coming out in Talon. Arthur is still set to find a lot of damage on this top tier 2, if not find it outright. Does look like they're setting up for just taking it. Neopod just cutting through. And for Talon's part, well, they've got RP and grip again. They did take out the Brewmaster if they want to take this, but 2 lives in Arteezy does make it tough. Again, it's like, it's the stacking of spells that's difficult for Talon here. I just feel like they need everything to be on top at once. And you can only really do that to 1. At least the grip only onto 1, so easier said than done here. Only 1 outer tower left for Talon. Aegis again still up for 2 minutes. See how much more Shopify can get.
I mean, they're more than happy to just sit back and relax for now by the looks of it. I mean, Arteezy's still about minute 40 left on the Aegis. Almost has the Skadi up though, and I think that's what he really wants before they get going. Just pick up the full Skadi here for the Void. Make life even more challenging for Talon. Smoke is out. Shopify Rebellion, they are going to just smoke through the mid lane, see if they can find themselves a nice target on the side of Talon, and it seems like Shopify heading right towards the bottom lane where they are going to see the lunar illusions. Sableye going to kind of reveal himself. Meanwhile, Arteezy top lane, he does have Chrono available, but he is by himself. The temptation might be too strong though, but no, he will walk away. Meanwhile, Yopaj still on the hunt for Akashi, but Akashi's into his base now, so he's fine. Nobody will get caught.
Smoke out.
5-man smoke from Talon now. This could be big as well. Without the Void around, this could be a very hard team fight for Shopify, especially if Sableye gets caught first. They'll make the jump in with the Orchid out. Sableye getting blown up completely is down. This Kitrak now trying to leap away and just jump the hell out of there. The Thealacor, he's going to jump back in. Meanwhile, Arteezy, he got caught by a Nightmare. They've got the Fiend's Grip if they need it. They've got no Void to play with them. Arteezy's being held back. Ponyo's just holding him down the whole team fight. Yopaj will eventually cancel off the Fiend's Grip, but they'll lose more than they anticipate. Sableye, he bought back for this, though. He might find Chuen, but no. Could not micro quick enough. And that was all Ponyo. Ponyo, he Nightmares and Fiend's Grip the Void as the rest of Shopify were trying to fight. And so they will lose the Brewmaster and force a buyback for basically nothing on Talon.
And that's what Talon has needed to do this entire game, right? Like, split up their spell usage, isolate one RP.
They've got the Void.
Oh my god.
I mean, you kind of talked about it, John. They're using these spells, separately now, and it's working.
That's all they need to do. Just isolate one, and that's Artur with a dieback respawn as well, off the Aegis expiring. So you have a lot of time here for Talon to play. No split available on Saberlight anytime soon. Should be able to find possibly at least a tier 2 here for Talon and try to bounce back the game. 20-29, 7k lead still up for Shopify, but Talon aren't completely out of it yet. And they've got the full Conda on Akashi. That Lucent Beam spam is highly annoying, especially to level 20 Talon up as well. He's got room to grow, maybe disassembly into Satanic to counteract the Scotty, play more with Moon Waves active as well with a Shard. And they're just going to try to force high ground to Luna. And they've got some time. Again, they know Split is down, they know the Void's down, but they'll play it safe. Creep waves were being cut by Saberlight. That should put a dent in Talon's plan at the very least.
Absolutely. Tier 3 tower, the first one of the game, already going down here for Talon. A swing in this game number 1 for sure, to say the least. Still 43 seconds without the Void, but Talon, they are kind of retreating. Hopefully just to wait for the creep wave, but it seems like the Manta illusions of the Brewmaster are just going to hold the creep wave back, so they're just not going to risk it. So just the tier 3 tower. No racks to be taken. And so the Void Death at the end of the day, it doesn't cost them as much as it should have.
Doesn't cost as much, but it still does give Talon a lot. Like, they force out the refreshed glyph usage there after the tier 3 faults. So now if you do lose that next fight, say you lose Roche control, which comes out in about a minute, we'll see that respawn into a high ground defense. Talon's just going to be able to clean up with Luna. That is something that happens really fast with this draft. Akashi is going for his own Scotty by the looks of it, so he wants his own stat padding to come in, a little bit more healing reduction as well. Shopify, they do have Chrono ready. They do have Split ready. They've got the smoke out here.
Oh, Teasy. Now, again, you got to watch out for that Bane. Ponyo, if he catches you without the BKB, he could just control you for a solid 10 seconds, and there's just nothing you can do about it if your team's not there to help out. Disruption is there. They have caught Jokam, but a skewer back from WS is going to ensure they have caught Thea Lacour instead. Saberlight's going to pop the Primal Splitters. Now the Chrono is out from Arteezy, but the Fiend's Grip, it's going to hold him down. Where's the cancel? It'll finally come out, but the RP, it's going to hold down the Void. Arteezy, he'll time walk away for now, though, and does retreat, does reset, as instead Talon, they're the ones falling. Ponyo, he does go down. Chuen, he's gone a bird. Onto Akashi they go. They've loved themselves a Luna, but Arteezy is dropping low to Jokam and does go down before he does take the Luna. It's still a great team fight for Shopify Rebellion. You do lose the Void, but it's not the worst fight at all.
It's not the worst fight in the world. You do force out the big spells as well. Talon this time being a little bit more disciplined with his spell usage, at least gives himself some time to breathe. Managed to find a couple of trades. Roshan is up, but neither side can really capitalize until the respawns are here. So that's maybe a little bit better for Talon in comparison to Shopify.
Oh, not Yopaj. Oh boy, Yopaj has been caught. He does try to run, but he's actually going to make it. Yopaj is fine for now. In fact, there's a turnaround. We've got a live team fight going on now. WS has been caught out. The Yopaj was the initial jump, but now WS, he is the one to get caught. Just not enough damage to take down the Pangalia that quickly, apparently.
No, just way too tanky. You don't really have burst output on WS. It's, again, more about utility here with his own Orchid and just the Blink BKB. No real damage coming out there. They will lose a tier 2 last outer tower for Talon being taken out. Jokam still playing tag.
Yeah, he's still trying to catch this Pangalia. I'm not really sure what he's expecting. I mean, you do have the Thunder God's Wrath from the Zeus, I suppose, so you do have that kind of added damage if you do find the initial Avalanche toss. I suppose it was a decent attempt. He only really got the Avalanche off, to be fair, so, you know, we never know what could have happened.
I have to give props to Saberlight here. A couple of times in those fights, he's been doing some cheeky stuff, right? Like that earlier blink on the edge of vision. A while ago, he blinks into the skewer of WS to just ensure that they can get the chase down damage to kill him off in that mid-fight. And he's been on point this game. Scouts out the Roche for the team as well. Get started on that Talon. They are smoked up in the area. You do get the scan off. The roar is there as well, so they can try to punish.
They're going to try. All spells are up once again. This could be a great team fight for either side. Zartezi cannot get caught first. It is not going to be a fun time for him. Though he does have buyback at the very least, so we could have a repeat of last Roche fight. Yopaj, he will go with the Rolling Thunder. He'll break all the smokes. The Primal split out as well. Jokam's trying to rush in for the Roshan steal. There's the RP as well. Locked into the Roshan pit is the Void, but nobody's got the Aegis. In fact, Arteezy, he's the one to pick it up. There goes Jokam. There goes WS. And it looks like the rest of Talon, they just need to run. It is not safe. Ponyo will try and TP away. He will make it, but they have left Chuen behind. That is a much, much bigger target. And now Shopify, they can look to force some buybacks.
That they can. They do have those buybacks ready on Talon at the very least. A little bit of a cheeky play from WS. TP's onto the outpost, goes through the gate, tries to go for that RP play, but just doesn't manage to get the timing. Didn't manage to pop the BKB on as well to try to get the Roshan for himself. Misses out on that opportunity. Great reflexes once more from Shopify here. Take the Tormentor out. No outer towers left. High ground threat is real. Okay. They lose kit rack. You know, it happens. We had to have someone die to Tormentor.
Luckily, nobody saw it anyway. John, we've got a replay going on, so it doesn't matter. Nobody saw it. It never happened. Kirak died in that team fight. The replay didn't catch it. Don't worry about it.
No. Absolutely. That's all it is. 1/4 forced out. 10-second respawn. You're going to have at least skewer back, toss back plays on the high ground, so it's still not as clear cut for the side of Shopify. So you still have some counterplay and talent that just gets harder and harder. We're reaching that point where, again, Chrono is going to be a big nuisance. You've got a lot of utility on Saberlight. You've got scaling damage starting to come out from Yopaj with his Disperser up. Really hard to chase down as well, as we've seen with that inhibit. And for Talon, their tools are still there. Like, you're seeing Ponyo trying to work into the Ags. He's got a Philostone to help soak up that gold as well. Has a Psychic Headband with the Aether Lens for a little bit more reach. You've got Chuen going back for the refresh, so wanting more spell output rather than right-click instead of like going for the Conda into the Moonshred. We tend to see just a little bit more spell casting for Zeus, which is fine. I think that is much more necessary here. There's not a lack of right-click here for Talon just yet. But Shopify, they're in control. They've still got 2 minutes 50 on the Sages. They've got the Butterfly for Artur in 60 gold. You don't have easy ways of piercing right now. Akashi queuing up the MKB, but it's a long ways off from that in the Satanic. So you've got all your bases covered. Heck, even more durability as well for Saberlight with the AC fully up. So even that output from Akashi is going to take a lot longer to bring forward here. Shopify, they just need to find a way to pierce high ground, and they just need to respect that repositioning, right? Just don't get tossed back into skewer back, and you're pretty happy here in Shopify.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you've seen how hard it is anyway. Like, even if you get the toss back into the skewer, as long as Saberlight and Yopaj or Arteezy, as long as they're out of that, chances are they will be okay. Because you've also got the Blink Dagger up on Thea Lacour now, so you do have the Blink into the Disruption play if they do get caught with their pants down. It's Talon, they are just stuck on the higher ground for now. There's not really much for them to do. Akashi is still top of the net worth board, but doesn't really mean too much if you're stuck on the high ground anyway. And it's kind of the thing as well against the Void. Like, the Luna might feel okay, but the Faceless Void just always feels like it's outscaling it at some stage of the game. See if Shopify do want to try and force something in the next minute and a half with this Aegis timing. Like, do you really think they just let it go? Like, if there's no opportunities that show from Talon, do you just let it expire?
It's not ideal. At the same time, again, they're showing a lot of respect. I think they're seeing how Talon's been playing. It has felt a little bit jumpier, right? They take these smoke opportunities to go out, to go hunting. Sometimes it lines up, sometimes it doesn't. It looks like they might be going for that now. The smoke being picked up by Ponyo. So this could be that moment where it's do or die for Talon. Like, if they lose out in this next fight, and they still have some buybacks left. In fact, they have all buybacks left, but the high ground defense gets harder if they do commit fully with, say, the RP and the grip. And see if they will consider a smoke. Maybe as the Aegis expires, they're going to look for that opportunity. And they do have enough for Akashi to buy out a new item. It's just that, again, he needs buyback as well. So, not going to take that risk. And Shopify can just choke them out, keep all the waves shoved in, have control over all the camps, get that farm going. Working towards the refresh for Artur coming on later down the line as well. So double Chrono, double BKB, gonna cause a lot of issues for Talon. But I do appreciate the respect Shopify does show. Again, like, repositioning spells are really annoying on high ground. We've seen a lot of games won off the back of just isolating one hero every single time. Let's see.
Well, there's a big smoke up. Smoke on smoke. Arteezy, he's going to break the smoke on both sides.
Oh,
They'll go for the RP. It's
oh,
whip, but they found Chuen with the chrono. But the problem is he's been fiends gripped in the middle of this chrono. He's still going to go after the Zeus. In fact, he's got a time walk away, but it's looking pretty messy for either side. Who's actually winning the team fight? I think they're both losing here, John. Joe Cam's on the run. Joe Cam might be the first one to go down, and he does. In fact, oh, they found Akashi with a tornado up from Sableye. Akashi will get locked down, though he does get the BKB off. The chase is on from Arteezy. Onto Ponyo they go. They'll go for the support instead. Zakashi, well, RP, it is committed here onto Arteezy. Problem is the Cyclone is right out immediately as Arteezy. He's back onto the Luna. Akashi, he has no BKB to play with this time around, though Arteezy's dropping very, very low, but the disruption, the Lacour, he will save the day for now. Arteezy's still trying to fight, will time walk out of there, try to run, but Chuen is chasing him down, so is Jokam. They'll yours him up, they'll try to skewer him back, they've got the Orchid and they've got the Void. They've taken Arteezy down. It's just Yopaj against the world, it seems, as he tries to pick off Chuen, but he can't quite do it yet. In fact, he can eventually. He'll get him with the shield crash. Yopaj, literally 1v4ing, will get thrown into Ponyo. How much can this man do on his own? Is there a toss back into the fountain, perhaps? Maybe even just a skewer.
Skewer?
There will be. There's one. There's the Orchid, and Yopaj is gone. A full team wipe out from Talon.
It's such a messy set of engagements. Like that fight coming out, the first Chrono not lining up the way they'd want to, the Grip being there to save, and then WS coming in with the late RP, but not able to BKB, so he's not able to get the skewer back with the tornado up. Like a lot of openings for both sides. Like look at this, like the Chrono just not connecting the way you'd want to here for Artur. The chase from Jokam on the side, splitting up the attention as well, just making it a huge mess for Shopify and for Talon. It's not the cleanest from both sides we're seeing here. But Talon do get a second lease in life. That only costs them the buyback on Ponyo. And it's very worthwhile. Right? You still have your core buybacks. There's that RP into just the Yules coming out for WS. Not quick enough in the BKB. Second time around we've seen that. But they still manage to get the isolation. Like the glaive active with a shard for Akashi keeps him alive for so long. It's insane how much that does when you've got good lifesteal on hand with a Satanic here.
Absolutely makes the difference. The Talon once again somehow finding themselves in a position where they're on the opposite side of the map. Looking through that mid lane, they do have a creep wave. They could think about it. There are buybacks available in Shopify, and well, really, it's only Yopaj that needs the buyback if they do need to fight. He's up in 15 seconds anyway. Talon, I mean, if they could find a pick off to start, it could do them wonders. It seems like Talon, they are forced to retreat.
That's such a fast Roshan. It's like, what, 3-4 seconds respawn?
It's quick. Arteezy's rushing right to the pit as well, John. I mean, they're right by him right now. Like Ponyo, he's already been caught out.
That's a dieback. The Chrono.
WS has been caught by the Chrono of Arteezy, though he does have buyback available. So no Chrono for this Roshan fight, but it is a 5v3.
It's 5v3, and Shopify should just find us. They're gonna get the free Ags out of this as well. That could be big if they want to give it to someone like, say, maybe TL Lacour in this case, or even Arteezy, just for easier jumps in. No contest from Talon. Talon instead just shoving in mid, trying to force a response out with the creeps and the illusion army they have here. They can do some decent chip damage onto the racks, but not enough to really hold anyone back. Another secondary life for Artur.
The Lacour, he's found Akashi. The Lacour's in, he has found the Luna. The arrow's going to connect as well from the backside. Kirak will lock him down, and Arteezy, he's going to show up, and there goes Akashi. Oh my. The setup from the supports of Shopify, making it very easy to find the Luna. Thankfully, he does have buyback on Akashi, but boy, you'd hate to have to use it.
Oh, Chuen?
Speaking of buybacks, Chuen may be in trouble. The Rolling Thunder, it'll lock him down, and Chuen, well, the Wind Waker will save for a little bit, but not for long. Chuen is gone, but he'll buy back immediately. They need him for the defense. And he knows it.
Yeah,
you need a lot more than
tough fight.
I mean,
They need a lot
Akashi's
more.
still
They need
down
to
for a
play into
minute.
double chrono. Like there's a lot of threat from Shopify with the 2 lives, the 2 chronos that can come out in a few seconds. Going for the end game? Oh,
It's being
and
cheeky.
this is not easy.
And this is the fun part, of course. Now you've got Ag's Void. So he can just keep time walking forward and just being an absolute nuisance. They will pop the Trickster's Cloak there for a moment, but won't find the angle onto the Void. Silence is there. BKB popped. He'll jump back out. So you do get a BKB usage, I suppose. It's something, but don't think RTZ is going to mind too much.
No, I mean, he has a refresh. He knows he can pop that freely. First chrono is going to be back up for the refresh, so double chrono is set to go. Talon. They've been really good at waiting out Aegis when they're forced into fights with the Aegis. I don't think they can find that opening. Top just being sieged by the creeps as well. Good damage done there. And Shopify can just hold this position with confidence. All their spells are up. They do hold out in the buyback of Akashi. Again, with this Aegis plus double chrono, double BKB, I don't know if you can have that opening you've been finding here for Talon in this kind of circumstance.
Cheeky little arrow to scout out there from Kitrak. They are still having a gan to see if they can find themselves a nice target. RTZ, he'll get silenced up. They'll toss him back. No, they will save with the Wind Waker. Meanwhile, they've found WS, but he'll get the BKB and skewer away. So 1 BKB has been forced out here of the map. Bottom Rats, under siege, is gone. Joker, he'll go for the toss back. The RP though, it was out of range. And now the chrono, it's been committed on Akashi. RTZ, he's been Fiend's gripped, however. He's in trouble, but the disruption, it's gonna buy more time. RTZ, he's back on Akashi. He's manning up here. Akashi, he'll get chronoed again. RTZ's caught 2 of them. This could be very over for Talon. Can you continue defending? I think the answer may just be no, but the buybacks are incoming. They are going to continue to try. RTZ, he'll get tossed into the fountain. He'll die once, or at least right in front of the fountain. Can they find him a second time? They've got to skewer back up here on WS. WS, he's going to try for it, but disruption is out from Thea Lacour, ensuring there's no follow-up. RTZ, he's still running. Talon thinking about continuing the chase, but they've got nothing. They have got nothing to play with. They'll try again. The Avalanche will toss the skewer. They've got the silence as well. This time the Void. He should be going down, but RTZ trying to man up in the fountain. He will go down first. WS will survive, but they've lost Jocam now. Meanwhile, RTZ, he's going to buy back and rush right back towards the base. There's no buybacks left here on Talon. They want to put it into this game, and they should have it. Jump is in from Saberlight. They found WS again. And WS this time will die back. Zakashi's the only one left. He's bought out the MKV, but it's on the courier. And he's so close, but so far from that damn fountain of his. They're just not letting him get there. Poor old Akashi. In comes Ponyo to help out. But now the Megas are on the way. This game is looking pretty much over.
It's certainly looking that way. Talon had a couple of good fights there. Some good defensive plays, but not much left. They just hit this timing in Shopify where, well, maybe not quite yet. Tour. It's going to be fine.
They give it a crack. RTZ just going to man up against Akashi, and that'd be...